Hello, I'm Paula, the Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion Coordinator here at First Baptist Church Halifax. And I'm here with Katie, the new Godly Play Storyteller, and I'm just getting to know her with our audience. So tell me, who are you? Are you from Nova Scotia? And what do you enjoy learning or reading about? Do you have any hobbies?
I'm not from Nova Scotia, actually. I'm from British Columbia, the rural part of British Columbia. So it's the interior section. Cranbrook is where I grew up. Yeah, small little town. As for hobbies and anything like that, things I'm interested in, I really do love theology. I am taking my Master of Theology at Acadia Divinity right now, so that's my jam. And pneumatology is one of my favorite things to study, so the study of Holy Spirit.
Really?
Yeah.
You should talk to Rusty. He will go on and on and on.
Oh, I love
any
it.
topic.
I love conversations like that. I do. Yep.
And what sparkled your passion for working with children in this Godly Play program?
Well, what I really, really like about it is how open it is to very individual ways of learning. So you don't, it's not rigid. It's structured, but it's structured in a way that provides flexibility, which I think is really important when we're learning and when we're growing. And I mean, when does that ever stop? So it's important for kids, it's important for youth and adults, and yeah, that got me.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
And again, about the Godly Play program, what interests you most about this whole way of faith formation?
Again, there's something incredibly powerful about embracing who you are and who God's made you to be. And I think Godly Play provides a lot of room for that, a lot of space for that. So, yeah, it's important.
The story. That's
Yeah.
nice. Very nice. How do you see it impacting the spiritual development of children now, of who they are or who they discover who they are, how they discover who they are, and the adults they will become because they had all this space and safe space to be who they are?
Again, I think it's being able to embrace your individuality, being able to embrace who God's made you to be, and being able to connect that with the fact that it was God who made you and God who wants to continue growing you in who you are. That is really beneficial, because again, that's something that adults need to learn. It's something I'm still learning in so many ways, and I do wish I had a foundation like this that I could have springboarded off of. So yeah, one of the key focuses I'm finding is just who are you in God's story, and then how will you grow into who God has made you to be. I
miss that foundation too. I feel like we adults should have a Godly Play.
I agree. Oh my gosh, I agree. And
we love stories too.
Yes, we're designed for them. Our minds, our spirits, we're made for narrative.
Yeah. Could we come?
Yeah. Actually, the more
Do you have to have a child?
No. I love it so much. I mean, the more that I grow in this, and the more that I read Godly Play materials for older kids and for adults, the more I want to implement. I'm moving towards doing a PhD, and I'm wanting to implement some sort of Godly Play into it. Because so pneumatology and Godly Play. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, I definitely want to create something if I can.
Be very well accepted.
Oh,
we also like to play. We also like to hands-on activities.
Absolutely, and to be able to just be cared for. To be in a space where it's like everything is taken care of. It's here for you. You know, just settle in and enjoy the sound of my voice and the story, and see where you find yourself in it.
That's awesome.
So, yeah. Awesome. Really hope to.
What is the most challenging part of the Godly Play program?
I think for me personally, it's getting too far ahead of myself, which kind of ties into that question, because it's the previous question. Important to set a foundation first and foremost for working with children, and then once we've developed that foundation, then I can move on and develop. But for me, it's challenging because I can see all the potentials, right? It's like we can go there. So
You get too excited.
I get too excited about things. Yeah, too excited, but its foundation needs to be laid. Foundation.
All right.
Yeah.
Focus. But
Focus.
with kids, they keep asking more and more questions, so you end up going there, right? And they want you to go.
Questions are good. That's another thing about godly play that I love.
We need to teach our kids, like, it's okay to have questions.
Yes. It's normal. It's just like how people love story. We have questions. We're inquisitive. We want to know about the world around us. And you have to know about the world around you in order to adapt to it and then better it. So, yeah, godly play helps with that.
That's great.
Okay.
And have you had any experience before with kids?
I have. I went in for my degree in education at the University of Lethbridge. That was a while ago, and I found that teaching in a school setting wasn't for me. I considered Montessori, and then there wasn't a good program in Lethbridge, and life happened. But I did end up leading kids' camps. That was something I did for a long time. I volunteered with youth for many, many eons, it seems. So I've worked with them quite a bit. I love them. I adore them.
Yeah. Do you see the room being Montessori? I don't know if that's the term.
Yes. Actually, godly play is based off of a Montessori curriculum, which is a lot more, engaging with materials. And I didn't know this, but the founder of Montessori, she was a Christian herself. So, and she didn't really like how things were being done traditionally. So she created a place for children to explore their world around them and work in community, which is really neat.
How do you envision your personality, the way you do things, your ideas that can enhance this experience for everybody?
That's an awesome question. I'm a very abstract thinker. And so I'll see a color or a picture or something of that nature, and my mind, like what we were talking about earlier with colors, it will switch to something a little bit deeper, and that has practical implications. And godly play does that really nicely. There are a lot of very, very intricately laid out and beautiful abstract things that you get to help kids uncover and make sense of. So the story isn't as esoteric as sometimes it might be to an adult audience, even, where it's like, Jesus said this and this happened. They're like, oh, okay. You know?
Except they don't change, they don't make something out of it.
Yeah, and kids actually can pull something out of that and implement it in their own experience of the world. Right? So they're taking those abstract concepts and making it a lot more practical for themselves and who they are. I love that.
So is it because of your way of thinking, is it easier to connect with kids?
I think in some ways it might be. I don't know if you're about the Myers-Briggs scale. I'd love to know what you are, actually. It's a typology, and it helps you understand how you function. So for me, I'm an INFJ, which means intuitive.
Oh, I've heard about it.
Yeah, it's fairly popular. Some people don't believe in it, and fair enough, but it definitely has.
But it fits.
It fits. It works.
It works.
So intuitive and feeling, and it does help me connect with abstractions quite quickly. And when kids have an idea that they can't quite put into words, sometimes you're like, oh, I think that's what you're saying. I don't want to lead the witness.
And I'm sure they like that.
They
like that you're trying to interpret them
and engage
their language.
100%. Their language, where they're coming from. And again, it's not me telling them this is how everything is. It's let's hear from you. Where are you coming from? I love it. I do.
So thank you. I just have one last question. Do you have any message both for parents and anyone who have not yet brought their children to the godly play?
I really would welcome you. I really do welcome you. I would really, really love for you to come, check out the space, meet me. interact with some of the materials, learn a little bit more about what we're doing here. I do think it's a really valuable thing, a really valuable program for children as well as adults. It's a really great way to be able to interact with your kids and teach theology when you have a little bit of extra time, that sort of thing. So it's profound and really, really helpful for the day-to-day, I think, even though it does sound kind of abstract. But yeah, just come and meet us.
You have to feel it.
Yeah.
You have to see it.
Yeah, come and meet.
We do have a sentence that we've been using on Reels with Rusty, that Rusty is recording. It's like, you don't believe it. You don't believe that we're welcoming. We don't believe that you can give church a second chance, because we know a lot of people have bad experiences with church.
Me too.
Come feel it for yourself.
Yeah.
So Godly Play, I feel like I don't know much about it, honestly, but I feel like you have to come and see it and experience as the parent or as the adult. As well as the kids. And we have very good kids, great kids. They are welcoming. I think when we are trying to show how welcoming our church can be, you just spend 5 minutes with one of our kids and you already learn a lot on how to welcome a newcomer, how to welcome a new kid.
Yes.
Here at church and at Godly Play.
Absolutely.
Anything else you would like to say?
Well, I like that you said, some people have had bad experiences with churches. I'm one of them. And yay! It's a place for you to feel safe. And it's a place, again, to be able to ask questions. And I'm kind of an iconoclast in some ways. I do ask questions because of some of the situations that I grew up with in church. So it's a safe place, essentially.
And Jesus asks questions all the time.
Disciples ask questions. Again, we're designed to do it.
Why do we block this?
Why do we? And I love that I can bring what I'm learning at Acadia Divinity College to the table, and I love that there's that foundation. So it's like I can understand. And have a foundation, but then grow off of it.
Yeah.
So the materials aren't coming out of just air either. They've been developed for years.
A lot of study on
it. A lot of study. The person who developed this has a PhD, and he's worked with kids for a long time. So it's a really good program. Love to have you.
And we are so lucky to have you here.
Oh. I'm honored. I'm really lucky to be here.
Thank you so much.
Of course.
So come, parents, bring your children to Godly Play, or come and just see how it is done.
Yes.
What are our values that are being practiced here. And thank you.
Thanks for joining.